Hi, everybody. Can everybody give me a wave so I can see that you can hear me? Yay, look at all that. I'm liking that. What a good Monday morning start, huh? All right. Hey, welcome to this crazy VBS, huh? I'm Miss Dottie. Some of you might remember me from previous VBSs, right? So you know, maybe, I'm a teacher. I teach in 4th grade in Downingtown School District for a very long time. And for almost all of my years, I absolutely love teaching 4th grade, except this year. Oh my goodness, what a year. It was great for the first 2/3 of the year, and then all of a sudden it went awful, right? We all had to go home and learn how to learn online. And I don't know about you guys, but I did not like having to teach online. Anybody else give it a thumbs down? Anybody? Yeah, it was no fun. You know, and for me, it wasn't so much that, well, I'm not very good at computers. So for me, it was kind of hard because I had to learn all that new computery stuff, but that wasn't the worst part. The worst part was not being able to see my 4th graders. I really missed them. I missed seeing their faces. So I actually had to start doing Zoom meetings just because I needed to see their faces, and it was better than nothing. Then I was like, oh my gosh, what about Vacation Bible School? What are we going to do? Am I going to miss those kids too? But here we are. And Miss Jen, I never ever thought we would ever pull this together, but Miss Jen figured out how to do it. Here we are. We have 5 weeks of gobs of fun for you. Can everybody give Miss Jen a big round of applause? Yay, Miss Jen! Thank you for doing this. Oh my goodness. Oh, sorry, everybody. Sorry. Oh, Miss Jen, did I forget anything?
No, you did a great job. Thank you for welcoming everybody, and I'm so glad to see all your faces. Thank you, Miss Dottie.
Oh, sorry. Oh my goodness. Oh, sorry. My dog, there must have been, kept waking me up last night. There must have been something in the, I don't know, the backyard, like a raccoon or something. Oh man. Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, did you ever hear that yawns are contagious? Did anybody ever hear that? Give me a thumbs up if you've heard that yawns. Yeah, you think so? Yeah. Yeah. Do you think it's true? I don't know about you, but I saw Avery yawning when I was yawning there. Did anybody else yawn? Yeah, up there goes another one. Gunnar just yawned. You know what? It's true. Scientists have actually studied this. People really do yawn when they see someone else yawning. It truly is contagious. There's something in our brain that scientists have figured out that when we see someone who's yawning, we say, oh, they must be tired. And I know what it feels like to be tired. And when I'm tired, I yawn. So you know what? I'm going to yawn too. And that, we don't even think we're about doing it, but we do. And that is an emotion we call empathy. And humans have empathy, but they're not the only ones. It turns out chimpanzees and dogs have empathy too. So if you yawn a lot, you might want to watch, maybe your dog will start yawning too. Anyway, it works with other emotions too. Like have you had the experience, like if you see somebody crying, you start to feel like crying too, right? Or how about laughing? If you hear someone laughing, it makes you want to laugh. And TV show people have figured out all about this empathy business. If you ever notice for a comedy show, a funny show that you're watching, they actually record people laughing and put that on the show to help you laugh where the funny parts are. And how about when you see somebody fall down and scrape their knee? You know, you're like, oh, ooh, I bet that hurt, right? Because you know what it's like to fall down and scrape something, and you know it hurts. So then you kind of feel sad for them. That's called empathy. And when you see that person fall down and scrape their knee, does anybody feel like they want to go over and maybe try to help that person? Or would you just, yeah, you want to kind of stop and help, right? Okay, that's called compassion. So first we feel empathy, and then when we want to help, it's called compassion. And that is what God wants us to be. God wants us to learn how to be really compassionate people. So that's what we're going to do this week and the next 4 weeks. We're going to learn all about compassion and how we can be even more compassionate than we already are. All right, so it's easy to be compassionate to people who are kind of like you, right? for example, us teachers, when we all had to go online and start learning how to teach you guys online, oh my gosh, we were all going crazy. You thought you were losing it. We were going bananas trying to figure out how to do it. And so we all were going crazy. We all knew each other very well. We all do the same job. So we were helping each other like crazy. Teachers were helping each other learn this, that, and the other thing, sharing stuff. But that's because we all know each other and we all know what it's like to be a teacher. So it was really easy to be compassionate because we knew each other. But what about people who you don't know? Do you think it's easy to be compassionate if you don't know someone or don't know how they feel? You think that would be hard or easy? Give me a thumbs up. Hard, thumbs down, easy, thumbs up. I think it's hard to get to know, be compassionate to someone who you don't know. Yeah, it is. It's really hard. All right, let me give you an example. Let's pretend you're in Target, right? Everybody's been to Target. All right, you see a little kid, little boy, frantically walking around and he's crying. Why do you think he's crying? He's by himself, he's crying, and he's frantically walking around. Now, somebody can take themselves off mute and tell me what you think. Why is he crying? Go ahead, take yourselves off mute. Anybody?
Maybe that's because he loses his parents.
Okay, does anybody else have another idea? Okay, good. I'm glad you answered. Now you got to go back and mute yourself again there. All right, I'll mute you. There you go. Anybody else have another idea why the little boy might be running around crying?
I thought the same thing, that he probably lost his parents and he's trying to find them.
All right. Who else thinks, give me a thumbs up, you think he might have lost his parents? You think that might be why he's crying? How do you guys know that? Have you ever had that experience? You're in a store, you turn around, nobody, all of a sudden you're all by yourself. Yeah, you get kind of scared. So you've had that experience already. How do you feel for this little boy? What are you thinking in your head? Somebody take themselves off mute and tell me how are you feeling when you see this little boy?
Like you want to help him.
Anybody else have that same feeling? Thumbs up, thumbs down. You want to go over and help him, right? Okay. So how do you do that? What do you do?
Give him a hand.
Give him a hand. Which, do you know for sure why he's crying? Are you sure it's because he lost his parents? Or you just think maybe because you've had that experience? All right, so let's see. Maybe you'd go over and say, hey, little guy, what's the matter? What's wrong? Why are you crying? And he answers you, no puede encontrar mi abuela. What? What was that? No puede encontrar a mi abuela. Does anybody know what he said? You don't know what?
I think he lost his grandmother.
Who said that?
Me?
Yes. How did you know that?
Well, I remember that abuela means grandmother, and he was definitely alone. So.
That's exactly right. How did you know that abuela means grandmother?
I had a Spanish class in one of my previous schools,
Okay.
so I got to.
So that actually was Spanish. Yep. And the reason we didn't understand it is because it's a different language than we speak. We speak English. He was speaking, unless you know someone who speaks Spanish, you can't understand. So let me give you an example. I have a friend, a good friend, who lives in a country called Ecuador. We've been writing letters back and forth to each other for 8 years now. Now, if she's in Ecuador, they speak Spanish. Now, if she speaks Spanish and I speak English, how do you think we can understand each other? How do I know that her dad works in a rose farm? How do I know her sister has medical problems? How would I know all that stuff if her letters are in Spanish and my letters are in English? How do you think we know that?
So do you translate the letters?
Yes. Tell us what translate means.
What's that?
What does translate mean?
It means to change it from one language to a different language.
And would someone who translates a letter, would they have to know both languages?
Yes, they would, because they'd have to take it from one language and then put it in another language.
Right. So you'd have to be pretty familiar with both. So someone would have to have gotten to know both languages. So yeah, they translate. I write my letter in English. It goes to Colorado, and out there, someplace out in Colorado, they translate it, and then they send it down to her in Spanish, and same deal back again. She writes her letter in Spanish. They translate it into English and then send it to me. So we've been doing that for 8 years. And just this past January, I got to go visit her. We went down to Ecuador, and my family got to meet her family. But the whole day we were together, we had to have a translator with us all day long. So I was like, you know what? I hope she'll come up to visit my family here in the United States. I want to go back down and visit her family again. But this translator business is tricky. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to learn Spanish so that then I can get to know her better, and I can understand her a little bit better. And okay, so I hope she's learning English too. So anyway, I'm working real hard to learn my Spanish so I can get to know a different language. All right, so has anybody ever been to a party? Everybody like parties? Yeah? When you go to a party, do you know everybody? If you go to a birthday party, sometimes you do know everybody, right? But when you go, sometimes you go to a party, especially when you're older, and you might not know everybody. There might be most people you don't know. So a party is a great place to get to know people who you don't know. All right, so what are some things we do at a party? Somebody go off mute and tell me some stuff you like to do at parties.
Play games.
Mm-hmm. What else?
Eat cake.
Eat cake.
Talk
What
to
else?
people.
Talk to people.
Dance. Make new friends. Sometimes.
Yeah. What else?
Music.
All right. Do you do a lot of eating? Right? Isn't there usually like a table full of food at a party? Do you notice that people kind of hang out around the table?
Yes.
Hang out around the food, right?
It's.
So it seems like that might be a good place to get to know somebody you don't know. Did you guys bring something from your table at home with you? I know.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't.
So we're going to break up into smaller groups after the Bible story, and you can show us what you brought from your table. Okay. So around the table is a good place to get to know somebody you don't know. So how about that new kid at school? Have you ever had a new kid join your classroom, like in the middle of the year or at the beginning of the year? Is anybody, right? How do you get that kid? Can you get to know that kid in the school, in your classroom with your desks and everything and all that stuff? Is that a good place to get to know the kid? Well, I don't know about you, but a lot of times in my classroom, the kids aren't really allowed to sit and chit chat with each other. Where might be a better place during your school day to get to know that kid? Where is a place you might be able to call them over?
Lunch.
At the lunch? How about at lunch, right? Can you get them to come over to sit with you at lunch and talk to you there? How do you do that? How do you get that new kid to come over to your table? Somebody on mute. Tell me how do you think the kids are?
You would introduce. Say, can you come over and sit next to me?
So you can just come. So all you have to do is just go ask them to come over. It's that easy, huh? All right. So when we ask someone to come over, another word for that is to invite them over. So we can invite people who are different from us to come over to our table so we can get to know them. Do you think that's something God wants us to do? So when you have you ever had your parents say, "Oh, I wish we could invite everybody, but we just can't," right? Can you invite every single person you know to your birthday party?
No.
That would be crazy, right? Why can't you? Can you imagine inviting every single person you know to sit around your table?
Then it's gonna be like a whole bunch of people in your house.
Yeah. Would it be a little crowded?
Yeah, and nobody could even talk.
Right.
Walk.
So unfortunately, sometimes we can't invite everybody. But how about at God's table? Is everybody in the whole world able to fit around God's table? You think I'll ever get so crowded that
Oh.
be able to talk to you? You mean everybody, God's table? Of course. He's God. He has the biggest table in the world, right? All right. So we don't have to worry about that. We can invite everybody to God's table. All right. We're gonna learn a little song here. And Bob's getting you guys up. You're gonna have to do some hand motion. So I need you to be able to get yourself somewhere where you can still see your screen, but be able to move around, okay?
Come to the table. Sing with me. Come to the table. Come to the table. Come to the table. Come celebrate with us. Come to the table. Come to the table. Come to the table. Come celebrate with us.
Good job, everybody. Oh, that was a good song. That was fun. All right. So now we're going to hear a story from the Bible about a family party. Family parties are always fun, right? Everybody loves to go to a family party, right? Not this guy. Not one family member in this story. One family member in this story was very unhappy about this particular party. All right. So while you're listening, I want you to tell me which family member was having some trouble feeling empathy and compassion. Okay. All right. Who's got the story for us there?
Say hello. Hi, I'm here with Brindley, and we're here to tell you a story that Jesus told his disciples. There was once a man who had 2 sons. The youngest son demanded his share of the family treasure. That's right. Yes. And he left his family for a faraway country. He wasted all the money he took from his family. But he spent all the money. He was hungry. And even though he was upset with himself, he decided to return home, hoping his father would welcome him back. When his father saw him, he was filled with compassion. He felt for his hurts. Yeah. And he ran out to his son. And he threw his arms around his son. And he kissed him. And he welcomed him. And he told him how happy he was that he had come home. And the father put together a big dinner and gave thanks for the son's return. The older brother came home and was tired from working and heard the music and dancing and became upset and angry and wouldn't go in. Yeah, we're almost done. His father went to the older brother to persuade him and said, I've listened to you, worked hard for you all these years, and you've never given me a party. But this brother comes home after wasting all that money? And the father said, son, I love you. You know what is mine is yours, but people matter more than things. And we thought we lost your brother from our family, but he's home. Come to the table and celebrate with us. Isn't that a great story? Well, we hope you've enjoyed that story. And Brindley and I wish you well. Say bye. Say bye-bye, blow kisses. Bye-bye.
All right. Hey, does anybody know who Brindley is? Why is Brindley sitting on Pastor Jim's lap? Who knows who she is? Go ahead, just unmute yourself, Tootsie. Don't wait for me.
Is his granddaughter?
Yes, that's his granddaughter, right? Pastor Jim has 3 grandkids, and that's one of them. So that's kind of cool. All right. So we got this 2 brothers, right? And the one says, hey, Dad, I get half of the money that you have. And I want my money right now. And I want to go out and I'm going to see the world. So he goes off and sees the world and has a blast and runs out of money. And he realizes that was a really dumb thing to do. So he decides maybe Dad will take me back. Maybe I can go back and say, I'm sorry. Did Dad take him back? Or did he say, too bad, kid, you blew the money, it's gone. Did he take him back? Yeah, he took him back. Who wasn't happy about that? Somebody unmute and tell me who was not happy about that.
The oldest brother.
The oldest brother, the other one. See, remember there was 2 brothers and the dad said, okay, half goes to the young brother, half goes to the older brother. The younger brother blew it all. And now here he's back and Dad decides to throw a party because he comes back. Older brother's like, yo, wait a second. He just blew all that stuff and now you're celebrating because he blew it all. Why were they celebrating? They weren't celebrating because the kid blew all the money. Why were they celebrating? Why did the dad want to have a party? Anybody catch that? Was the dad happy that the son was back in the family? Yeah, is that something we should have a party about? To celebrate somebody coming back? You ever have parties when someone comes home?
Yes.
Yeah, my son, when he had to go to another country for the army. He had to go to Iraq for almost a year. Do you think we had a party when he came home? Probably best, funnest party ever. Anyway, yeah, so they weren't celebrating. So the older brother couldn't understand that, you know, it's not all about money. Money's important, but what's really important is that the family's back together again, and that's why they had a party. So do you think the dad came to the, do you think the older brother decided to come to the party? Or do you think he still stayed home and was mad? Who thinks he
stayed home and was mad?
Do you think he stayed home? Or do you think he had compassion for his brother and came to the party? What would you do if you were the older brother? Would you go to the party? Or would you stay home and be mad? Who would go to the party?
I think that just the younger brother and the dad did what the older brother wanted to. I mean, the older brother wanted to go to the party, but the younger brother wanted. I mean, the whole family gathered around to go to the party.
Do you think the older brother went to the party too?
Yes.
I hope so, right? I hope he could be compassionate, right? You're compassionate people, right? Would you go to the party even though your little brother blew the money? You'd still go? Good. Remember you said that when you're mad at your brothers and sisters, okay? All right. So we're going to go to our breakout rooms now. Okay, I think we're all set. So, and we're going to end in the breakout rooms.